My style is very simple. I'm an empathetic leader. I'm very much results driven. I'm very much people centric. I'm extremely customer centric. Even if I want to tell you something negative, I have my way. I don't believe in cutthroat leadership. I have faced this from few leaders and I hated it. So everything you didn't like that happened to you, you will do the opposite.
Exactly.
Everything good that happened to you, you will do the same.
Hussein Wehbe. He's an ex-Aramex regional CEO. He's an ex-advisor to the Prime Minister Office, ex-managing director UPS, founder of People MENA, and founder and CEO of PlugMe, a contributor, opinion leader and influencer on LinkedIn, and much, much more. What are the red flags that you will tell them now to take care of while they are in the startup phase?
There are a lot of red flags, and the biggest, I think,
Welcome back, Alphas, to a new episode of the Alpha Talks podcast. Today, I've got a very, very special guest for you today, a true alpha. An alpha in the corporate world who started in corporate and reached a top level in the logistics and delivery industry and then switched to entrepreneurship. So an alpha who has both wisdom, the corporate wisdom and the own business wisdom as well. He's an ex-Aramex regional CEO. He's an ex-advisor to the Prime Minister Office, ex-managing director UPS, founder of People MENA, and founder and CEO of PlugMe, a contributor, opinion leader and influencer on LinkedIn, and much, much more. So get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered as we shine the Alpha Spotlight on Hussein Wehbe. Correct? Wehbe. Welcome, Hussein, to the Alpha Talks podcast. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
thank you, SEIF. Pleasure to be with you today.
Same here, brother. So let's start in a very, I would say, nice way. Let's say somebody looked at the thumbnail when the podcast is done and saw the title, and so it looks interesting for them. What can we promise them to gain from this podcast so that they gave us their time? Whatever you think
I
about.
can tell them, forget about titles. The content will speak itself. Expect an unfiltered,
I love that. Yeah.
uncensored, authentic episode with you.
I would love that. First of all, I'm a big fan of Hussein on LinkedIn. He's really authentic on LinkedIn, and the value that he provides is just amazing. So let's start by saying, who's Hussein? Can you just tell us who's Hussein?
Hussein is a normal human being. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm one of those people who, really worked hard. I'm a workaholic. I was able to climb the corporate ladder with a lot of sweat and blood. And the biggest secret in where I am today,
Yeah.
and although I'm not anywhere yet, still there's a long journey, is because of people.
Because of people.
Because of people. And that's why I always speak about people. So today I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner after working for around 22 years in the corporate, and I'm still opening my path for maybe a brighter future.
I love this part. So what motivates Hussein? So after all this long career in corporate, you reach the top level. Majority of the people would say okay, it's time for me to retire and enjoy life. I'm not talking about the age perspective. I'm just talking you reach the corporate heights. What motivates you to keep kicking in?
Strangely, I have self-motivation. I wake up in the morning, I want to do something, not to have a tap on my shoulder. I don't expect from anyone to tell me bravo, good job. I self-motivate myself. I have an inner, very powerful self-generated positive energy, which it took me years to build it. And it doesn't come from nothing. It came from a lot of experience, a lot of downfalls, a lot of lessons. So today I am the motivation of my own self.
But that's because you have a hidden why inside of you that you want to achieve something while you're doing this, or by experience you said no, I don't need a tap from anybody, and to get myself moving, it's me driving me.
I don't have the why. I have the why not. I've been always driven by the why not question. Why can't I do it?
Okay.
So when you have this as a mindset,
A good twist.
anything which is doable, literally as a human, you can do it. There is no reason for you not to do it.
You talked a lot about the comfort zone when I was reading your post or your interviews, the comfort zone. And the move to Dubai for you was very fast. And usually the good things that happened in life, I would say, in my path, it was something unpredictable and a fast decision. So your move to Dubai was very fast. Tell us about it.
I'll tell you how it happened. When I was working with Aramex in Lebanon, it was a quick email between the Dubai management and the Lebanon management. And simply, my ex-boss in Aramex,
A lady.
UAE, sent a message to my ex-boss in Aramex Beirut and said, I want someone. And she immediately put my name. This is how leaders really care about growing their people instead of just,
True, keeping them
for
afraid.
themselves. She said, I have this guy, take him, he's good. And then immediately within a few minutes, he sent her an offer. It came to me and she told me, pack your bags, you're going to Dubai. Because I wanted to always to go to Dubai. Dubai was for me the land of opportunities. I mean, when you hear that you have friends in Dubai, wow, that's really big.
True.
And since then I came to Dubai, and I can tell you that
you didn't think you would leave your, sorry to interrupt you too, you leave your family, your friends, that's the comfort zone thing.
By then I didn't have a family. It means an extended family of wife and children. I wanted to build my future, and you cannot build the future in a better place than the land of opportunities.
True.
So the moment I landed in Dubai, I never regretted my decision. And since then, I think the UAE became my home country.
You spent 17 years in Aramex. You spent 17 years in corporate world, in one company. That's the thing, even before the show, we were talking about this, the commonalities that we have. I almost spent majority of my career in corporate in one company. Can you tell me, what key lessons did you get from Aramex staying 17 or 18 years, and how it shaped you now?
Aramex, as I always say, was a school. And everybody who graduates from Aramex, they tell you the same thing. It is a great school. When I joined the company, what really shaped me and shaped many great leaders today is the culture, the corporate culture. We had a great corporate culture. We had a great vision. We had great leadership. To an extent of, again, I always say it, we never went to work. We were used to go as if it's our company. We had the sense of ownership for the business. And we took it very much personal whenever anybody speaks bad about the brand. So we learned everything. I mean, I learned everything from sales to customer service to finance to leadership to culture, literally everything, in addition to the logistics technical part. So I can tell you 18 years or 17 years in Aramex is not about how to deliver a shipment.
True.
It's how to run a business.
Absolutely.
And this is where those corporates will give you the best learning experience to prepare you to go to the entrepreneurship world, which of course we will speak about later.
A question here. You talked about the culture. In the culture perspective, you were thinking about the intrapreneurship perspective that they built you into an entrepreneur inside of the company?
100%.
100%.
The secret was, and Fadi Gandour, the great founder, and he was a great leader for all of us, built an entrepreneurship ecosystem inside the company. So by then, the word entrepreneurship was not known. If you remember 10 years back,
100% doesn't exist.
You used to say that this guy or this lady are a business, she or he are a business person.
True.
Businessman, businesswoman. No, I remember I received a book from Fadi on our desk. All the managers received that book. It was called something entrepreneurship. It took me 5 minutes to know how to read it.
To even pronounce it.
Exactly. So it was really tough.
Yeah.
I think since then, by having the entrepreneurship injected in our DNA and learning about entrepreneurship, it started to get embedded in us as leaders. And this is how we started to understand it and go into mentorship, corporate mentorship programs. We were having a mandate of mentoring companies, not only mentoring our people.
Mentoring company, external companies?
Yes, this was part of the CSR direction of the company. And this is really what shaped us.
But what kind of advice would you give to startups now that they need to develop the entrepreneurship inside of their own organization? Because you touch upon the culture, which is extremely important, and what made you stick to Aramex? What do you need to do from your point of view?
I stayed for 17 years because I was given all the empowerment and again, the sense of ownership to enjoy what I'm doing with full empowerment on decision making and to learn from my mistakes. So I had no reason really to leave by that time. I got a lot of offers.
Of course.
And I was always afraid, and I still say it till today to my bosses, to go to interviews. Because maybe my boss will know that I went to an interview. I wasn't afraid from the boss to take maybe
an
a
action,
revenge-based.
yeah.
No, I was afraid of embarrassment. And Hussein, why you are going into interviews? You're not happy with us?
True.
And I was super happy at that time. So this is very rare.
Yeah.
I think it's very rare in the corporate world.
True.
But my advice always to startups is focus from day one on creating the grassroots of your organization, which is the corporate culture. The corporate culture is the DNA, the soul, the spinal cord, everything you can imagine, which will allow you to get numbers and scale and grow.
At the end, true.
That's really a golden rule for me.
Then what made you leave RMX, and what motivated you to leave RMX? At the
I
end?
mean, it's very well known. I never hide it. I left RMX because some changes happened and I was asked to go to another region.
Okay.
But I will never leave this region.
Okay.
My success and all, as they say in Arabic, the fat on my shoulders is from this region, especially from the UAE. So I was not ready to leave the UAE. All my connections are here. All my partners are here. I wanted to stay. So I left very peacefully because I didn't want to go to a different region. As simple as that.
Reaching a CEO position and staying in a company 17 years tells a lot about your leadership style. What kind of leadership style do you follow as Hussein?
I wasn't born with any exceptional leadership styles. I inherited this from the leaders whom I worked with. The way I was led, today I lead. So my style is
leading by example.
Exactly, 100%. My style is very simple. I'm a leader. I'm an empathetic leader. I lead with empathy. I'm very much results driven. I'm very much people centric. I'm extremely customer centric.
And extremely positive.
Even if I want to tell you something negative, I have my way
to
turn this negative thing into an opportunity by getting the best out of you. I don't believe in cutthroat leadership. I have faced this from few leaders and I hated it. So everything you didn't like that happened to you, you will do the opposite.
Exactly.
Everything good that happened to you, you will do the same.
And you know, the best thing that shows the material of your leadership, when I asked you who is Hussein in the beginning, you said Hussein is because of the people around.
100%.
And that's true leadership. Let's move a little bit to your new companies that you established after you left RMX. You have PlugMe and you have PeopleMe as well.
Yes.
The idea that came to you to establish these companies, from where?
Basically, both of them are companies that are filling gaps today. When you are in the corporate world, you see a lot of gaps. And when you exit the corporate world, any startup you want to work in is coming to solve a problem. PlugMe is basically a practical advisory boutique firm. Practical advisory means a lot of companies today, they require practical advisors who tell them what they should tell them. And not to tell them what they expect from them to be said.
True.
So
and they pay hefty amount.
100%. I, as an advisor, I will tell you what I have to tell you. It's not what you expect from me to tell you. Otherwise, I'll be
the same as everybody else.
Exactly. So PlugMe is, again, the concept of the company is to plug myself with corporates and startups to help them improve the business, scale the business, grow the business.
In any particular field, or
I started
across?
in logistics and e-commerce, which is my industry, but I found out that no, there is a bigger scope here in anything corporate, because my experience in the 23 years old is not only logistics, it's the corporate experience that can apply to any industry. So in principle, I'm very happy with the results today. It's all about being an authentic advisor, an advisor who is a shadow of the management. I work on a part-time basis as an external advisor, but my commitment is as a full-timer.
Ah, love that.
And this is very rare.
The commitment, true.
I always say PowerPoint presentations, 2 slides. This is the situation today. This is where we will be if we execute. And then I roll my sleeves and I go on the ground.
I love the roll the sleeves.
I sell with my clients. I help them in service levels. I help them in transformation. I put myself with them in the fire, and we enjoy the challenge.
I love that you have still this fire even after you reached. You know, sometimes we say like the ego kills people. When you reach a CEO position in a multinational company, and then you say like, okay, I'm gonna roll my sleeves. Not a lot of people have the guts to say it. So it's a respectful thing.
If you don't start as a leader from day one, being a field leader in the field, you will not would.
True.
I had always those fancy offices. I had those secretaries. I had all these big benefits. I just always put them aside. I loved to go with my people on the ground to sell, to solve problems. I mean, sometimes in the logistics industry, if one day passes without a disaster, it's boring.
True.
It's a super
Too
exciting
boring, true.
industry. Lost shipments, damaged shipments, delayed shipments. So these really keep you on your toes and give you that fire to keep working hard.
Since you mentor a lot of, I would say, entrepreneurs, business people. I don't want to touch this topic, but I want to touch from another side. Like sports teams, they have coaches.
Yeah.
And the coaches, they can spot the superstars by a certain set of criterias. When you coach people, when you coach business or entrepreneurs, what kind of criterias Hussein sees in people that says like, okay, that person would be a superstar in the business area that he's in?
That's a great question, Saif, because for me personally, coaching is not only about having a coaching certificate and going into theory. The way I coach is a practical coaching based on raw experience and raw knowledge. And what I do is, I used to have always in the corporate world a program which I always initiated in every company. It's called hunting those hidden gems. In every organization, I mean, in one of the companies, I used to have around 3,000 people. I was 100% sure that out of these 3,000, if you have a middle layer of 100, you can have the next layer from the lower layer that can be triple that number because they are hidden down. They're super talented, super qualified. So I used to dig down and notice those. You know what? Some of them are engineers, some of them are pilots and doctors, but they are working as customer service. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
So I called these people after coordinating with HR and telling those people have studied for 9 years. Their capability and talent is 10 times more than what we think.
What they're doing actually.
So this is super important. Many companies should do that. It's very bad to get somebody with, let's say, a PhD and say, you know what, I'm going to lowball that person. You pay them peanuts because they are coming from a poor country.
True.
Rather than getting them, benefiting from their experience and from their educational background and paying them fairly and getting the best out of them.
So Hussein, you're looking for in people more on attitude perspective, character perspective, or skills perspective?
I always look into the soft skills.
The soft skills.
I have hired hundreds of people and I had hundreds of fights with HR when I used to tell them, not in the way of my way or the highway, but yes, sometimes I used to do it. I used to put my bet on people that this lady or this person are qualified. They don't have the industry experience. We can teach them in 1 month, but they have all the soft skills and the attitude to learn, perform, and grow with us. Take them. Sometimes you have these psychometric tests and 100 million questions and ABC. And I have, I mean, a funny story. In one of the opportunities that came to me, I did one of those tests. Okay. And I was shocked by the results.
No way.
I got the result of I'm not creative, I'm not social, and everything which is against. So this gave me an indication that those are important. I'm not trying to really
but not an actual
ignore
benchmark.
that, but not actual. You have your real testing phases during the probation period, and from the first impression, it always counts.
True. Then another question. I see that you like to add a lot of value to people. So I need to highlight this in the podcast as well, so people will know that. You launched already your podcast, which is Hussein's Lounge. Tell the people what you want to deliver with this podcast. You're delivering extremely important information and content on your social media, and now you're taking to another level that you want to share it more through podcast. Tell us about the podcast.
First of all, I have to thank you and appreciate you
Same here.
for mentioning this and not taking my podcast as a competition for your podcast. So this speaks about your values, number one. Number two, my podcast is a bit maybe different when it comes to the content. I've been in this region for more than 20 years. I saw a lot of success stories, great leaders, and a new generation of great leaders, either be it from family businesses or from the corporate, who need to be exposed, not to become famous, need to be exposed to share their best practices and inspire others. So if you notice, I called it Hussein's Lounge because I want you to be comfortable
and casual,
while asking you those tricky questions that will take you out of your comfort zone. And by taking you out of your comfort zone, I will reflect the real you.
True.
And that's really the purpose of this podcast.
I saw the first episode and I really loved it. And I have my own podcast, but I want to say that really the podcast of Hussein has really value in it because he tackled it from a totally different angle than the regular, tell me your story, tell me what you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate. Let's talk about a little bit about success. So success for everyone is absolutely different. What is success for Hussein?
Success is a never-ending journey, which you may never reach in your life. I call what we have today is milestones. For me, maybe I have achieved few milestones, but I'm still very much far away from success. I think success is very tough to achieve because defining success is a bit complicated. The moment you say I'm successful, you will sit in your comfort zone.
True.
So you have to put success as a never-ending journey, and you have to keep running and working hard to reach it. This is my personal definition of success.
But what the keys then to success?
Keys to success is when you reach a situation whereby you never have to put a lot of effort to be trusted for any business partnership. You have a reputation, a great reputation where people want to work with you. You will be a tough competitor to others, not through your business model and through your business, through your own self, through your name. For me, that's the ultimate success. When you are having a great reputation, people respect you, people want to hire you or work with you, no matter what. This is for me success.
I love that. What's your daily routine then?
Okay,
Something in habits.
Yeah. If I tell you that I wake up at 4 and I do the jogging,
The 5 a.m. club.
no. I'm not. I wake up early because I want to take my kids to school, which is a mandatory thing. Otherwise, you will see me waking up at 7. But when I take my kids to school, my day starts. I directly go either, if I'm working with clients, many times I inject myself in their offices, different clients every day. Or if not, I go back, let's say, to one of my working spaces.
Yeah.
But 99% of my time is sitting and meeting new people every day.
Yeah. So networking
Every single day. And I have a lot of requests to meet people. I have to filter. I mean, I would love to meet everybody, but you have to filter at least whatever is really benefits you and those people.
The best thing, this is the second time I meet Hussein. The first time we met in the Young Arab Leaders Organization, and it was very quick. I don't think that we shook hands even. But when Hussein came to me today, as if I know the guy from years back. So when he really talks about the networking, you know how to build rapport with people. We knew as if we know each other for long. We talked about almost everything. So I believe you're very good in networking. What are the keys to networking to you?
Positivity. Look, from the first 3 seconds, shake a handshake and that eye contact, you will know that you have clicked with that person. You have 2 types of people: the very casual, positive people like you, and you have sometimes the people whom they are born like that. They're arrogant, they have ego. You will feel that. I will never network or even extend my handshake for more than maybe 2 seconds with anyone who shows ego or
an attitude
or arrogance. I just cannot blend with such people. And you see them every single day.
True.
So the best way is to ignore them, stay away from them, and negative people as well. I like to network with people because every person is a potential friend before I say business partner, because for me, it's never about materialistic reasons. Connecting with people is a human to human connection. You never know what happens in the future. Luckily, every person whom you meet in an event will remember you after 10 and 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the good thing. This is what you need to build when you are building your network. Just building a network by going, wow, that's a top CEO of a company. Let me go and shake hands because I want to take his or her business. This is fake.
True, doesn't work. But what kind of tips you can give to people to really do a network? Like, let me tell you, for example, I have a ritual that I do, like, because you meet a lot of people in your life, 100%, and you can't cope to keep in touch with everyone. So I have a ritual in the morning that I list 3 to 4 people every day that I have to get in touch with in order to nurture the relationship with them. So that's a tip that I follow. Can you give a tip for the people how to maintain the network in this extremely loaded, I would say, era? How can you maintain the relationship and network with people?
What you said is number one. I do like the same thing like you. Every day I choose 4 or 5 people, just call them at least once in a month, checking on them. I don't want anything from them. Secondly, maybe because I'm very loud on LinkedIn every day, I put once or twice, people see me every day. So the beautiful thing is anybody whom you meet after maybe 3 years of disconnection from a physical interaction, they tell you, Hussein, we didn't miss you, Habibi.
We see you.
We see you every day.
That's a nice one.
In a funny way, not really in a toxic way. 1 out of 100 will tell you in a toxic way, Ma Habibi, I see you every day. Khalas, enough. I tell him, you know what? Or Unfollow.
True.
Simple.
True. That's a nice one. So the
Yeah.
social media power that keeps you in touch with people.
100% because you are there when you do it safe, not for you, for others. When you are a giver and not a taker, people will be close to you.
I
So
love this
going back to networking, when you approach somebody in an event, it's good to approach for a business partnership. Of course, there's nothing wrong, but also if you approach that person for a win-win benefit, and sometimes for something that will benefit others, this is where people will receive you more, and you build really
And people feel it
long-term
100%.
Yes, definitely.
Hussein, as a person who I would say worked in a corporate world and being an entrepreneur as well, do you believe that everyone should be an entrepreneur? Or do you believe that people should start in the corporate world, then move to entrepreneurship? What kind of school do you come from?
Saif, it's a tricky question, and the answer is sometimes tricky. There is no golden rule here. I always prefer a fresh graduate to go into the corporate world, learn the basics, build their own foundation, and then go into entrepreneurship. Why? Because in the end, you're setting up a business and you have some basic things that you need to learn. I'm one of the people who encourage everybody to take the raw corporate experience, no matter how hard it is. The harder it is, the better it is for you to learn.
Exactly.
Because some people, they graduate, let's say they go and join a business for their family, they do nothing sometimes, and they don't learn anything. These people will mostly fail if they go into entrepreneurship. I think you have to have the hardship first of the corporate world, and the harder it is, the better it is, and then go into entrepreneurship.
Actually, I have the same point of view, but you know, we see a lot of people these days because on social media, the entrepreneurship, the flush of the entrepreneurship that everybody wants. As soon as they finish university, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to ride this car, get this house, buy this watch. But I do come from the school of try yourself in corporate, learn the systems, learn the process, build your foundation, and then pivot. And I have other saying that says like, if everybody becomes an entrepreneur, then all the companies has to shut down. So 100% aligned on that. And I really encourage people to test themselves in the corporate world before moving to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, again, it's not an easy thing. And I want you to talk about this. It's not an easy thing at all. So tell us what entrepreneurship is.
Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You're right. Not anybody who can work 3 years in a corporate and then khalas, I want to do my own business. Because even you as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, during your early days, you are lonely. No matter how many people you have with you.
And nobody believes you.
Exactly. All the pressure is on you. And to build your reputation and name, especially if you were not really well known in the corporate, it is a very hard thing. If you were very well known in the corporate,
you can leverage.
And you can leverage easily. It's a plug and play.
True.
It's a plug and play. So I always advise people, it depends on your character. I have mentored a lot of entrepreneurs. Most of them are great. Some of them were not capable. They were super weak. Their character was super weak. They don't know how to speak with others. They don't know how to speak with investors. They don't know how to speak with clients. They're more of technical people. It's okay. If they are like this, to succeed, they have to get co-founders with them who have the attitude of an entrepreneur.
The missing elements.
The missing elements. So it's like a puzzle. It should be really completed by different types of pieces. So yes, it's not for everybody. It's super hard because your income is not stable. There's a lot of downs and few ups.
Yes.
But it's beautiful.
It's worth
I
it.
personally enjoy the challenge. I never brag and nag about it.
Yeah.
If you want to nag and brag about it, quit it and go back to corporate.
Yes.
Simple.
You know, when I switched from corporate to becoming an entrepreneur, I had 6 months. I talked to you about this. I had 6 months of hell. It requires a totally different new skill sets to be an entrepreneur. So from Hussein's standpoint, what are the key skills that entrepreneurs or people who wants to be an entrepreneur should develop in order to be a successful entrepreneur?
You have two types. You have your soft skills. You have to be a social person. You have to be really having the business. You have to be business oriented. You have to have leadership skills to lead a business. You have to have the confidence to deliver what you promise to your investors. And you have to have also the risk-taking appetite. And this is super important. If you are not having the appetite to take a risk and you are not having the readiness to fail, you will not do it.
Yeah, stay
So
in corporate.
you can fail and it's okay, but you have to learn from those mistakes. You fall down and then you stand up again. So I don't feel that many people are ready for this today, and that's why I don't advise everybody to go into entrepreneurship. I'm very selective when I advise people. I know who is ready and who is not. In addition to all this, again, we go back to your network. If you have a big network, you will never have a problem in selling.
True.
I have a problem today, literally, and catching up with how many leads I have, how many people I can approach for my business. But maybe I don't have the capacity to serve them all. So it is called a positive dilemma. If I know, let's say, 1 million people, I may need 10 of those to take my company to the next level. I'm barely maybe able to serve and focus on 6, not because I don't want to. I want to focus on those
properly.
And then I scale. And the next advice, never scale quickly. Never go and just, yalla, I want to open 50 branches. Proof of concept in one country, one place, one solution, one product, and then you grow gradually.
100%. Once the foundations are set and you're ready for the scale. You mentor a lot of startups. And let's say there's a startup watching us now. What are the red flags that you will tell them now to take care of while they are in the startup phase?
There are a lot of red flags, and the biggest, I think, bump that faces startups is, again, speed of scale. Speed of scale is very risky.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. You will not make your first million from tomorrow. Focus. And believe it or not, choose your right co-founder. You can be super synchronized and aligned during the first days while pitching. When the real business starts, you will know your real co-founder when challenges happen.
True. 100%.
I mean, this is very much. And
when stress comes in.
Yes. Work with a co-founder whom you trust. Forget about the background and the technical background. Somebody whom you trust. Somebody when you fall will lift you up. Not to cry with you in the same corner.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a very good one. Let's switch a little bit to social media. And it's very silly if we talked about how important is social media now, all these kind of things, right? So let's talk to the meat. You're a great contributor on LinkedIn.
Thank you for the word contributor and not influencer.
Absolutely. A great contributor on LinkedIn. Why are you using LinkedIn? And what is the important for LinkedIn for you as Hussein and for people who's listening to us? And what kind of strategy you use?
LinkedIn is an underestimated platform, which many people still today think it is a jobs platform. It is not. LinkedIn is the best networking platform ever. It took me time to realize this. I mean, I used to think that LinkedIn is a place where people just go to find jobs. So when I see somebody active in the very early days, maybe that person is just going to look for a job.
Sorry, I will interrupt, just to put things in perspective.
Yeah.
It has more than 100K followers.
Reaching 100K in a few weeks.
Yeah. So more than 100K followers on LinkedIn, that's not something that a lot of people think that you can build it overnight. No, he took a lot of time and put a lot of effort to build this kind of huge reach on LinkedIn. Sorry for the interruption, but to put it in the perspective.
No, thank you. By the way, I never really thought about numbers here. My purpose on LinkedIn is to build my personal profile and have it there as a legacy for the future. It is like a knowledge hub, I call it, where people go for free, benefit from the content I put. I never really thought of I want to reach 1 million or 2 million followers or whatever, because, on LinkedIn, you never monetize. Your monetization is indirect by getting business opportunities, job opportunities, when people believe in your values. So it's your online CV, resume, and history as well. But it wasn't easy. It needs a lot of consistency. By the way, every single human being you've met in your life, almost, not most of them, but most of them are on LinkedIn. Every decision maker whom you want to meet in the future is on LinkedIn. Every person who you met in the conference, worked with you, your coworker, colleague, boss, partner, client is on LinkedIn.
Right.
Every person who was with you in university is on LinkedIn. College on LinkedIn. It's an amazing platform. So I found the right opportunity on LinkedIn. My reach on LinkedIn, when I want to promote something, speak about anything, even if I go to the most famous TV channel ever, the reach is not as big as on LinkedIn. I was telling you offline.
Exactly.
If you go to one of those biggest news channels in the world and have an interview and you're proud about it, the first thing you will do, you put it on LinkedIn.
Right away.
Please watch, because nobody is watching TV today. And people are almost 24/7 on LinkedIn. Many of them are silent people, observing and not contributing. And a big chunk are contributing and adding a lot of value.
You were doing LinkedIn when you were in corporate, right?
Yes.
A lot of people tell me, oh, Saif, I don't want to be on LinkedIn when I'm in corporate because my employer will think that I'm job hunting. What kind of advice would you give to these people?
I spoke about this in many podcasts. And the first question is why you are not allowed to job hunt. I mean, I believe personally, this is a right for any human being, whether you're happy or not. Again, I say it for the 10th time, no company will own you as a person. You have the right to job hunt. But of course, when you are working with a company, you cannot go and say, I'm open for work. You're still there, unless you decided to leave and you informed your management. You have to respect that company in the end. But no, at all. I always encourage my people to be active on LinkedIn, build your personal profile. That's why today I'm not trying to sell, but I'm doing a lot of LinkedIn training in a practical mode, whereby we go to companies, train them how to be brand ambassadors for their companies while building their own personal brand.
Within the company.
Definitely, because your personal brand will reflect positively on the corporate brand and vice versa.
Absolutely.
So LinkedIn is, I think, the best place where you can sell, where you can build relations, where you can network, where you can share your values, where you can find, generate leads, where you can do partnerships. I mean, everything.
A lot of people listening to us, I believe they don't have a proper LinkedIn page. What kind of 2 tips would you tell them to do? That they listen to this and they jump onto the computer. What do they do exactly?
I'll tell them how much time you spend and how much art you put in decorating your home for a guest to come and visit you. This is how you have to do it. At your home, you may receive 10 guests every month. On LinkedIn, you may receive 100,000 visitors every day. So it's your open house.
True.
You have to decorate your page as if it's your own home, because a guest will come and have coffee and enjoy your time and they will leave. Your LinkedIn profile can open for you $1 million opportunity by having an employer visiting your page and understanding your values from your content, from your picture, from the way you speak, the way you comment. I always tell people, be careful of commenting in a negative way, in a toxic manner on other people's posts.
You told me offline that when you started, a lot of people were having negative comments towards what you were doing. How do you want people, or to advise people, to handle such negative comments? We're all on social media, we got trolled 100%. What's your advice to them?
It depends on the way you approach it. Initially, when you start, you'll be worried and afraid of those. And the moment you see a negative comment, either you will delete your post, or you will delete your account. I know a lot of people did. And then gradually, you will understand that this is my personal space. I put my own rules. I set my own red lines, boundaries. So you want to contribute on my posts, you have to be respectful. You want to have constructive feedback, go ahead and put it. You want to cross the limits, you send me a personal message. My posts and my profile and your profile is not there to create toxicity and negativity for people. So this is your ownership.
So boundaries, they put boundaries, they put red lines, and they don't get into the tit and tat of answering each other on the
trolls. You don't need trolls. You can immediately eliminate trolls. You can do it in a respectful manner by sending that person a message that you have crossed your limits. I have to delete your comment. First of all, to save you from my followers who will attack you on that comment, because
And you had an experience of this. You shared before.
A lot. I had a lot of your followers. They are your beautiful community, and they're your lawyers. So that person who puts a negative comment, which is super toxic, I'm not talking about constructive, is attacking you for no reason. This comment that they put on your profile is seen by all their followers. So imagine you're following someone and you were planning to hire that person, and you see him or her jumping on somebody's post, putting a super negative comment, which is not affecting that person. It's affecting a brand which he or she represents, which can include million people working there. I mean, SEIF, it is as serious as that, but people don't really realize that. So I never, in all my LinkedIn journey, I've never put a negative comment on anybody's post.
Nothing.
Never.
Absolutely. True.
Because I have no reason to do that.
No need. Either you agree or you disagree. You can even skip it, or like if it's not, you don't need to fight somebody.
Yes.
See, if we go back 20 years, what kind of advice would you give it to yourself?
Well, a lot of advices. When you receive opportunities, never reject them blindly. Explore every opportunity that comes to you. I did this mistake in the past by when I had a lot of opportunities, be it direct ones or indirect ones, or even not necessarily jobs, maybe businesses. I used to stay in my comfort zone and say, no, I'm going to work here for a lot of years. I don't want to explore. That was the biggest mistake, although I don't regret it because it didn't negatively impact me. But maybe I could have taken myself into a different place today.
Or a fast tracker.
Or a fast track, exactly. So never reject any opportunity blindly.
Assess it
Explore,
wisely.
assess, know your value, know the value of the opportunity, and then say yes or no.
I love that. There are people in corporate world right now, and they want to leave their 9-to-5 job to pursue their passion, to becoming an entrepreneur. What kind of advice would you give them? So they're already in corporate, and they think that they could be an opportunity to follow their passion. So you moved from corporate to entrepreneurship, but you took the ladder till the end. But the person midway said like, okay, I want to try entrepreneurship. I want to ride the Lamborghini. What to do?
I can tell them, don't take a crazy step. Or in Arabic, we say, ما تتهور.
ما تتهور.
So
Exactly.
you have to take a calculated risk for one reason. If you're financially stable, you have income for years, jump ship. Put your resignation tomorrow. You have nothing to lose. If you don't have a steady income and you have a family, don't react based on maybe negative things that are happening. The moment you feel that you cannot continue, either you want to jump into a different job or you want to go into entrepreneurship, calculate your risk.
Or maybe started on the side, right?
It is, I used to encourage people, by the way, whenever I was leading companies, I'm okay with you and having your own side business.
Really?
Yes. As long as it doesn't have a conflict of interest. And if the company rule doesn't allow that, I cannot violate the company rule. But when I have the authority and the empowerment as a leader to allow it, I always allowed it.
That's
Did
so
I turn
inspiring.
my blind eye sometimes on few people? Definitely I did. Because if they were working on logistics and they have a marketing agency, Mali, it's okay. You know why I did this?
Yeah.
Because I used to always, as a leader, know that if tomorrow the company comes and says we are downsizing and you were forced to ask those people to leave, can I give them a 2-year salary to survive? No. So I cannot cut their other source of income as long as it's not really having a conflict of interest. Today, if in my company I will hire people and I'm the decision maker, I will always allow it. As long as you work, I cannot expect from you to work with loyalty because I'm not loyal to you as a company. I want you to work in dedication, deliver what I expect from you, and then you make your own money on the side, passive income, it's your right.
Share with us what's the best advice you've got. Best.
The best advice, I still remember this. It was one of my great bosses. I was very positive in many of my roles. And one time, a boss took the phone and he called me and said, Hussein, stop being very nice with everyone. You don't want to please everyone. Say no. You know, in corporates, you fight between region and corporate and everything. I used to always say, you know what? Okay, let's do it.
Department.
You know, for the reason I don't want to go into debates. And then this leader, a great leader, he told me, you don't have to please anyone. Stop accepting everything as it is and fight back. This was a turning point in my character and my attitude. It gave me more confidence to say no. When I have to say no, I say it. I always say, it's very important to say no when a yes is always taken for granted.
Absolutely correct.
That was the greatest lesson.
Absolutely. I want you to share with us something that nobody knows about Hussein. A hidden talent, a hidden hobby. Share it with us.
I have a lot of hobbies, but
A hidden one.
Hidden one, everything you see today on social media, on all my channels, videos, pictures, designs, content, these cool animations, I do them personally.
He told me this like 10 minutes ago and I was like, oh, proof.
And you know what? 80% of this content, I make them on my mobile.
Oh, really? On the
Yes.
mobile?
No laptop, nothing.
So nobody has an
20%.
excuse, guys, huh?
That's it.
CMO, CEO, RMX, business owner, and he's editing everything his own. So you don't have an excuse.
And by the way, I don't do this to save money. I do this because
You like it.
I like to be creative. All my company logos, of course, one of them was made, PlugMe was made by a great agency. I have to mention them there. The Marketing Boutique by Nancy. She did that, but people mean I did it myself. I just went to the website and designed it. And then the marketing material for both companies, I do them. You buy on Canva or any of those $2-3, and I put it. So it's a great thing because this is where you put the content that speaks your values.
True.
I don't have to outsource that. Of course, you have to outsource it if you don't have time, but me personally, that's my hobby.
Love that. I was surprised, but super nice because frankly speaking, even my team knows that I like a little bit of design. So I do a lot of things on Canva as well. So that's a commonality we have. Before I smooth things down, do you want to share anything with the audience out of your heart?
I always want to tell them that, and I always say this, if you want really to reach perfection and success, which is a long-term thing, as we said, you have to get rid of few things. And I always say, stop fearing people. You have nothing to fear when it comes to people because, I mean, people cannot hurt you. In the end, they will maybe influence you negatively or positively. The moment you stop fearing people, your confidence is going to shoot up. Be yourself. The moment you divert from being yourself and become, just a fake person, trying to copy others, you will fail.
True.
Be authentic, be yourself. You will have a lot of people who will be with you. You will have a lot of people who will be against you. That's normal. Don't aim to be loved. Aim to be respected. Don't aim to be famous. Aim to be heard. Don't aim to be an influencer.
Contributor.
Be a contributor. I think by doing this, and most importantly, be a giver before being a taker, you will own the world.
Love that.
You will own the world.
Guys, take note of this. That's really gems being thrown now. We have a ritual in the Alpha Talks called the Alpha Talks Memoir. Okay, the Alpha Talks Memoir is a simple archive that I'll ask the Alpha guest to write 3 things. Okay, the first thing is your experience in the Alpha Talks. The second thing is you will ask a question to the next Alpha guest. He will not know or she will not know that the question is coming from you, but it's a way of connecting people together. The third one is who do you recommend to be the next Alpha guest that you think that they will really make an impact on the audience that we have. So these are the 3 things I would love to have it from you. And before we start with this, I need to ask you the question from the last Alpha guest. So who was the last person you really, really kind to? He was really kind to, and you were super kind to them and helped them.
Maybe I'm not supposed to mention names.
Yeah, but
right? But I've done it for a few people without expecting any return, especially people who were super talented and looking for jobs. So I recommended them without even taking this as, I don't know, a recruitment task or job task. I mean, I've done this for a few people. Maybe I think in the last year, if I calculate those, and today, alhamdulillah, they are working and their families are safe and secure because of the income, maybe around 6 people.
I love that.
I could have made money from them if I took them under
The
People Mina.
thing.
And by the way, there's something I would like to mention here. Many times when I take a candidate to a company and this company tells me, Hussein, we don't have a budget for external recruiters, I already may have shared the CV. I tell them, you know what? Hire that person, interview them. I don't want money because I cannot tell you, oh, you cannot contact that person before I make my money. I tell them, hire that person. Karma is always on the corner.
Exactly.
That person will come to me maybe
One
with
day,
something
true.
in the future.
Love that. Hussein, thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure to have you today with us. And I'm sure all our audience on the Alpha Talks podcast would love this episode. Everybody follows Hussein. Everybody checks his LinkedIn. He drops a lot of knowledge bombs over there. You will learn a lot. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, SEIF. I think this is one of the best podcasts I've ever attended.
I appreciate it.
And you are an inspiration.
We will have another sequel or a follow-up on this podcast soon, so stay tuned to that.
Definitely.
That wraps another inspiring episode of today's show. I hope that this episode has ignited your inner alpha and left you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer any challenge that comes your way. Remember, alphas aren't born, they're made. It isn't about dominating others, it's about embracing your authenticity, leading with integrity, and making a positive impact on the world. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the Alpha Talks on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your fellow alphas. Also connect with us on social media at SEIF Al-Hakim. Share your thoughts, insight, and stories of personal and business growth with us. Let's create a movement of alphas supporting one another. The world needs more alphas like you exactly. Until next time, stay bold, stay driven, and stay alpha.